Ladies and gentlemen, the captains have turned on the explicit content sign. If you haven't already done so, please stow your children underneath the seat in front of you, or at least out of the f***ing room. Please take your seat and fasten your seatbelt. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. Tampering with, disabling, or destroying the lavatory smoke detectors is prohibited by law. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to another episode of the NBTLT podcast, the only podcast that cares what you think, as long as what you think isn't stupid. I'm Lon, and I'm joined, as always, by my good buddy Zumi. How you doing, Zumi?
Doing well, Lonnie. How are you?
I'm here.
You're here. You're alive.
I made it.
You survived the turkey.
Yeah, and a hell of a nap, I will say, on Thanksgiving. Did you take a turkey nap?
No, I didn't. I didn't have any turkey, actually, on Thanksgiving.
What? Oh, that's right. You were telling me.
I did have some turkey leftovers today, though, for dinner. That was pretty good.
Did you steal them from someone else?
No, my brother set a plate for me aside, so it's good. Okay. It was good.
Well, good. Yeah, I had too much.
I am having some ceviche tomorrow, so that'll.
I'm a little jealous.
I'll kill a fish and then some shrimp instead of a whole turkey, you know.
Yeah, I see that there was a lot of shit going around about like people saying they're boycotting Thanksgiving, you know, because they, you know, it's evil and it's racist and all that stuff, and I don't think I really understand it. I honestly don't think people understand what the first Thanksgiving was. You know, like they just think it was like a bunch of pilgrims that showed up and the Indians gave them food, and then like they shared it, and that's all it was. And then we ended up giving them syphilis and enslaving them, you know, stuff like that. That's not exactly true.
Well, I mean,
but
boycotting it seems a little bit stupid because, I mean, if you think about it, like you got all these farmers that can be affected essentially by that, like sales and all that stuff.
Yeah. Which brings me to an interesting point. Last year, this time, we had talked about Black Friday.
We did talk about Black Friday. I was just remembering that.
And we did have a pretty decent topic about it, you know, being like a light version of The Purge.
Dude, did you see the videos that the stuff that was going down in San Diego?
I did not see any of the videos, no.
Holy shit.
Is it getting worse?
It's pretty bad. It's funny because they had a comparison of like Thanksgiving in the UK and then Thanksgiving in like, I can't remember where it was, but for sure the UK, and people are just walking, like, and some of them, like, there's just one person entering the store. And then they have the one in the US. And people are,
you know, it looks like dystopian future.
They're pushing each other, like people are fighting over like a box. I'm like, really? Like, just
Yeah, I mean, we don't really need to rehash all of our feelings about it, but I will say that I did read, and it was an article about Black Friday and why stores just can't stop doing it now. And because if they stop, they lose out on a lot of money. And they're basically shooting themselves in the foot if they stop doing the Black Friday sales. And the ones that are actually making money and not doing it are the ones that haven't done it ever.
I mean, all I will say to that is thank you, Amazon, for existing.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Newegg.
Yeah, seriously, dude. It's just saw all those videos and I'm like, yeah, I'm glad that's not me getting his face planted.
The fucked up part is that you can't really stop Black Friday from happening unless you got a majority of Americans to stop doing it.
Yeah. And
that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that the sales aren't even that good.
No.
Like I'm looking at the sales, like you know, everybody gets the special paper. At least we do here. I don't know if you guys get it, but like everybody gets that paper, you know, like before Black Friday. And it gives you all the brochures and the, you know, clip outs or whatever of all the sales that are going on at each store. They're not even that good.
Yeah, I know. It's like 20% or something like that. And you're like,
It's like, well, shit. I could just, if I wanted clothes, I could just use my wife's Kohl's cash or whatever she has.
you know,
Dude, I have no idea how Kohl's makes money.
oh, I have no idea how Ross makes money, but you know,
Or Ross.
that's neither here nor there. I
Their
guess.
sales, it's like like Christelle's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to Kohl's. My mom has some Kohl's cash, and then I have mine, and I had you get the first like 30% off, and then you get another 40 if you use the Kohl's cash, and then you get like another 15% if you do it before this time. I'm like,
Yeah, and then if you
What?
go on a certain day, you get the senior discounts. So you just gotta take your old man
Yeah.
or whatever. Dude, it's ridiculous.
it's like, so they gave this to me, and
Yeah, this was all this was like free.
yeah, they paid me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't understand how some of those stores make money. I know they do, and I know that everybody's not as thrifty with the coupons and stuff as say my wife and her mom. But I mean, there's a lot of people that do that. How the fuck are you making money?
I know. It's
Is it because it's a sweatshop?
could be, dude.
It costs like 10 cents to make, and
I-
it costs another 5 cents to pay the person making
Yeah,
it.
or they're like Costco, right? And they make all their money on the back end
Yeah, it could
Like-
be. It could be.
via sponsors or whatever.
Yeah, that's the way to go, apparently.
Yeah.
These days, marketing and sponsors is the way to make money. I mean, it's the same thing in politics. I mean, because if you're a senator, you know, your base pay, I mean, it's not great, but it's not bad. You know, but you make a lot of fucking money by doing fundraisers and all that kind of stuff, or doing those back channel
Yeah.
deals or whatever, and sending business outside the U.S. or whatever the hell they do. But so yeah, Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Sucks.
Thank God for family. You know, if it wasn't for family, I wouldn't do anything fun.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely enjoying the 4-day weekend, so that was nice.
Yeah, we didn't get that.
I'm a little stoked that I gotta go to work on Monday. So like tomorrow's my last day.
Yeah,
But I mean, other than that, it was just any other day. It was just normal day, like a normal day.
yeah, yeah. I had to go to work on Friday.
Oh, that sucks, dude.
Yeah, and it sucked because it was actually really boring. Because a lot of people, you know, of course, take that day off too. It's just that I don't have the seniority to take that day off.
Right.
You know, everybody else did. You know, like, so it was me and 2 other guys, and you know, by 6:30 everybody's gone. So we're just kind of sitting there going, well, I guess I'll go do some work and maybe turn on the lights that everybody turned off. You know.
I'll be like, I think that's my kid crying.
Aw. Yeah, it took a little while for me to get mine to sleep.
No, he was passed out around like 8 or so. Like,
Oh, don't you love it when they wake up randomly?
dude, he's a pain in the butt sometimes.
Oh, but he's so wonderful, isn't he?
For like 5 minutes.
They keep you going. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. This episode is going to be real laid back because I'm sure that Zumi's probably about as tired as I am.
All right. I gotta take like a quick second. Here.
You go ahead and take a quick second. We'll be right back. And we're back.
Sorry about that.
Is the kid alive?
Dude, this is gonna be like the all-time record of taking a break in this podcast.
It happens. But I'm prepared. We'll do like smooth transitions. You know, like just throw your hand up since the audience can't see us. Zumi's just going to throw his hand up so I know that a break's coming. And I'll just kind of like transition it, you know, like into something that we can pick back up on as soon as he comes back.
I know.
We got this.
I'm sorry about this, but it will change. I'm actually moving in 2 weeks, and I'll have my own room. I think I've already talked about this. It's like my own sound room. It's like alone.
Speaking of which, did you see like that I'm setting up the room?
I did. I saw all the setup. Looking pretty good.
Let's see. I'll turn the camera a little bit. We're putting bookcases and shit in here, and we got the poster. Gotta have that
poster. Yeah.
Why don't you explain to people what that poster has?
So it has it's a Disneyland poster from the Star Wars shop or whatever, and what they do is they take a picture and then they do they Photoshop the shit out of it, I guess.
Something like that.
And they make you look like Han Solo or Luke Skywalker and stuff like that. So Lonnie is Han, and it's like, of course, it's like the first time he actually has hair. And
I should take a picture of it and put it up on the website.
I know, right? And Christelle is Princess Leia, and I am Skywalker with glasses.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're wearing glasses.
It's fucking
great.
The fucking guy didn't want to take the picture again. I told him like, oh, you should take it again, and he just wasn't kind of happy. He wasn't listening. He was already printing.
Yeah, he's like, dude, it's over.
It's like, do you see that line?
Well, I think it's funny because like on You and I, he did a pretty good job. I mean, despite the glasses, he did a pretty good job. Like mine's kind of creepy, like you say, just because there's so much hair, and I think that he left like some of the Han Solo chin in there, so I have like almost like a little dimple.
Yeah,
it just doesn't look right.
But it's a nice picture, and I got the picture, you got the poster, and a blanket. If I were, you still have that?
No, I didn't get the blanket. No.
Okay.
For with that picture on it?
Yeah. I thought you got the blanket on that one too.
No, fuck that. That's like $300 or something, isn't it?
Yeah, but it would have been glorious though. You can like cut a little hole in my mouth. You can always like with a blanket.
That's a pillow. That's a pillow. I should do that. I should get a little picture put on a t-shirt, like of your face. And you should get one of my face. And then just put like NBTLT below it, And people are like, the fuck?
That'd be pretty sick, actually. They'd be like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, don't you know?
This guy doesn't know.
Speaking of messed up thing, you seen La Bamba, right? The movie?
No. I've seen the music video.
No, La Bamba. Come on, dude. You've seen the movie, right?
No, what is this?
La Bamba.
Stop saying it.
Motherfucker, like the song, but they made a movie of Richie Valens.
Yeah, I know. Okay, I know of it. But I've never watched it.
You've never seen the movie?
No, I'm not Mexican.
Oh my god.
Is it good?
It's pretty good. You should watch it.
I don't know. You said that about a show or a movie that you wanted me to watch on Netflix, and I didn't really like it.
No, anyways, La Bamba's a classic. You've seen it. You're pulling my leg right now, aren't you?
I've never seen it, but I will do you the favor of watching it.
All right. Well,
it looks pure 80s, though.
It is pure 80s. But it follows. Well, it's loosely based on the story of Richie Valens, and
I know who Richie Valens is.
And you know how he died, right?
No. Wait. Didn't he get offed?
No, airplane.
What?
There's an airplane crash.
I sound so uncultured right now.
Dude, yeah, you do. Like, they didn't have, back then the de-icing capabilities on airplanes wasn't that good. And, like the wing or one of the ailerons, I think, that got, frozen. And they lost control of the plane. They crashed.
Was it like an Illuminati thing where they lost control?
No, it was legit. They flat out died. It was Richie, and then there was like a couple others, like really young singers that they were very popular, during that time.
Okay.
But anyways, there's I'm watching this movie, and there's this really fucked up scene that I've never noticed before. Mm-hmm. But going on my YouTube rabbit holes, I found it. But so they make out his brother look like an asshole, like just a complete asshole, and it's it's not true from like the interviews that I've seen of him. He's kind of like was kind of disappointed that he was kind of portrayed that way, but anyways, in the movie the brother is just a piece of shit, right? He's like an alcoholic, drugs, and he has a kind of like he has a wife, and he just treats her like shit, right? But there's this one thing where he just gets super angry. The wife is pregnant, and he just leaves, right? And he goes to Richie's place and his mom, and Richie's just practicing. He's like in the guitar, like just going at it, right? Not even paying attention to what he's saying. And his brother just says, sometimes I almost have to rape her just so I can get some.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And Rich is just playing the guitar like nobody's visited. And he's like, listen, Bob, I'm really glad that you're here, like visiting and all, but what's gonna happen when your daughter is born? It's just like matter of fact, But it's so fucked. So I found that scene and I'm like, I'm just fucking laughing. Like, I didn't know that scene was there, right? And so you start looking at the comments, and there's this one comment that just make me laugh. It said, when man had balls.
Oh my god.
You should look it up, dude. Watch the Bomba and just look up for that scene. It's like, I pretty much have to rape her just to get some.
Well, I got it in my playlist, so
no, but you'll like it. Great soundtrack. I mean, yeah.
Is it Mexican shit?
No.
Is it like Chicana music?
No. Well, I mean, it's La Bamba. La Bamba's a Mexican song, right? But
Chicana.
Okay, whatever. They sing in Spanish. It's Mexican.
It's Mexican music. It's the Mexican language.
Something like that. And they have a scene in Tijuana.
Tijuana.
Viva Tijuana. TJ.
I've been there.
But you don't know TJ yet.
Oh, apparently.
Yeah.
Because the gringo doesn't know Tijuana.
No, you don't.
The most surprising thing out of that whole, story you gave me was that you told me that you read YouTube comments.
I do.
Why?
Because they're funny as fuck sometimes, dude.
Are they?
Yeah.
Are they?
Yes. Something you find like a hidden gem in people trolling the videos, like this one.
Yeah, and okay, well, I'll watch it.
Yeah, check it out. It's a good movie. It's a classic.
Now, have you watched anything else lately?
No, dude. Like, I didn't.
Have you been super busy?
I didn't watch Blade Runner. I haven't watched Ragnarok.
Oh, that's right.
And I haven't seen Justice League at all. Like, I don't know shit about those movies right now.
Yeah, well, it's almost pirate season.
I know, right?
But I don't download movies illegally.
Well, I do because it's legal in Mexico. But
no. Oh, okay, you can say that. I was going to say, Zumi, keep it on the down low.
So,
but yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's they're on my to-do list. I did watch Stranger Things though, season 2. Pretty cool. Yep. It was pretty good. Yep. Liked it.
It's pretty good. I like Steve.
Yeah, Steve was awesome in that. Yeah.
I don't know why they decided to give him a much bigger. I don't know if it's a much bigger role, but it's more enhanced role. But I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked his whole story arc, dude. I have a real issue with the whole scene where the thing went into Will.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was okay, but the part that was really fucked up is that he was basically possessed, right? And dude, that fucking creeped the shit out of me when he was shaking and stuff as they're trying to figure out what's wrong with him.
Right.
Dude, that was messed up.
Yep.
I gotta say, those kids are good actors.
Yeah. How awesome was Sam Gamgee though?
Oh, that was, dude. I was so I was so waiting for him to be like this messed up like stepdad type.
Really?
And that I was like, please don't become that guy, please don't be an asshole that like ends up telling Will to man up, and and then you find out, oh, he's basically just like Will, just grown up.
Yeah.
So like, okay, and that's what makes you really love the character, right? But did you notice the story that he was telling Will about the clown?
Yes, it was a It reference.
Yeah, I noticed right away. I'm like, holy shit. But did you watch the new It?
I haven't seen the new It. I heard some really good stuff about it though.
Yeah, I got through the beginning scene.
You can do it?
I couldn't do it. I know that it's not that scary.
Well, I from what I've heard, I beg to differ. Like
the new one made it.
It's supposed to be
a lot more fucked up.
Yeah, it's supposed to be scarier because it touches more on like the psychological aspect of the kids' lives rather than it being an alien from. Yeah,
well, I did the beginning scene and then I kind of, I'll be honest, I kind of skipped through. Because, dude, I'm serious. I can't handle that movie. I just can't. Like, I can do The Exorcist. I can do, Sinister and all that, Insidious and all that bullshit. But I just can't do It.
You just can't do It.
Yep. I got a thing.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Fuck clowns, man. If there was a football team called the Clowns, they would be my new most hated team.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, like, I did do something on Thanksgiving.
I don't want to hear about your antics.
No, I stole some fried chicken.
What? Why?
It was an accident. I didn't plan to steal it. Okay. No. So this is what happened. So
that makes it better.
Yeah, I know. So we went on Wednesday. I got out early, and of course, the fucking traffic to cross the border is just horrendous. And I told my wife, like, I'll take dinner. She's like, what do you want? Do you want Church's chicken or do you want Panda Express? And she's like, Church's chicken. And
amen.
So there's this Church's chicken like in San Ysidro, like an exit before the last exit, right? And okay. I'm with my brother Mario, and I think Mario fucked me up because he went first, and he got a box, right? And he was like flirting with the girl there, or
flirting with the chicken girl,
yeah, or rather, she was flirting with him. Whatever. Anyways, I order a 10-piece, and then I order a side of chicken tenders for the kids. And I'm like, yeah, I need 8. And they're like, oh, I only have like a 3, a 6, and a 9. I'm like, all right, sell me a 9. And so as soon as I order, like, it just starts getting packed, right? So it's just like order after order after order. So I'm waiting. So Mario gets his order first, and I see that the girl puts a bag, and I'm thinking, okay, that's my bag. So I get up, and she's like, grabs another bag and starts putting crap on it, like the sides and all that. And naturally, because I order the 10-piece and I order the other the tenders, I thought, okay, it's 2 bags for me because of the size, right? and I grab both bags and I go, is that it? And she's like, yeah, that's it. And I leave, and I'm like walking slowly too, and I'm looking there, and I didn't think anything of it, and I just threw the bags in the car and came home. And then I look at it and I'm like, okay, I have 3. Why do I have 3 boxes? So I open up, I see the tenders, I open up, I have the 10-piece, and then I open up the other one, there's another 10-piece, and I'm like, fuck. It's like I stole somebody else's dinner. So
you had a lot of chicken.
I had a lot of chicken. I had chicken for dinner, I had chicken for breakfast, and I had chicken for lunch.
Oh. So how do you feel about chicken right now?
Dude, I'm like chickened out.
Could use some beef right now.
Yeah, and then you add the turkey that I had. So I'm like, oh, dude. But yeah, so I stole some fried chicken. I'm going next week, and I'm gonna pay the 10-piece that I.
Well, you're a good guy,
stole.
Zumi.
Oh.
See, that's the kind of stuff that I like to do. You know, I can't stand it. Like when I mess up something, or like the cashier at a store like messes something up. You know, like it's less than what it's supposed to be. I'm like, maybe you should look at that again, because I'm pretty sure it's more than that. You know, like I'm pretty sure that a bag of diapers is not 99 cents.
Yeah, I know.
So,
But and my wife was like, like, well, why would you? I'm like, because it's the right thing to do. I don't want to get anybody in trouble, and I don't want to go back in there and all of a sudden they have my like a photo, like a mugshot, like, banned or
do not serve to this man
or whatever. So next Friday I'm gonna have to stop at Church's Chicken and be like, hey, this happened. Please charge me for a 10-piece.
You should take your brother with you.
I'm planning on it just so he can,
as a witness.
I know, right? Or so
because he knows the girl apparently.
Or so he can flirt with the girl again.
Yeah,
be like, you dick. But yeah,
lots of chicken.
It was a lot of chicken. It was good fucking chicken, by the way. Like, have you ever had?
Well, it's Church's.
Have you ever had Church's Chicken like cold?
Yeah,
They're just the best.
Of course, it's good. Well, it's like Christelle makes fun of me because I do like cold chicken anyway. Even like barbecue chicken, I like it cold. I like it hot too. Don't think I'm weird, and that's like the only way I have to eat it. But one of the things I like to do is go and get those. What is it? Foster Farms. Just the frozen ones, like the chicken popcorn chicken.
Yeah. And
cook them, and then put them in the refrigerator. I know I'm weird, but that's like one of my things. I just like cold chicken.
I mean, that's pretty weird.
It is pretty weird.
I don't deliberately make it cold. Let's just say, like,
do you like cold pizza?
If it gets cold, it depends on the pizza.
Yeah, I can't do like Hawaiian style pizza cold.
Really?
Yeah, I can't do that. I can do pepperoni. I can do cheese. I could do even some, like the barbecue chicken pizza. I can do that cold, of course, because I like cold chicken. But not all of them. Like if it's like got like sausage and stuff on it, can't do it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't do like Costco pizza cold.
Oh, no, because it's their cheese.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just different.
Yeah. I can't.
It's like eating one of those Lunchables pizzas.
Right. But hot, like it tastes amazing. But cold, yeah. I can do Domino's cold.
Domino's is okay.
Yeah.
I don't like Pizza Hut cold for some reason.
Me neither. It tastes weird.
It's really greasy though.
Yes.
At Pizza Hut. So, and that stuff doesn't like, like when you cook meat in like a slow cooker, or you're cooking it in a pot and all the fat kind of goes to the sides, and then when you put it in the refrigerator, take it out later, it's just got like that orange fat ring. It's like that, when you put Pizza Hut pizza in the refrigerator.
Fucking disgusting.
Ugh. And like you bite into it, and it's almost got like that buttery consistency, but it's just fat and grease. It's like, oh nope.
So, Lonnie.
So, what's up, buddy?
Have you seen The Punisher?
I think I'm up to episode 7.
Holy shit, dude!
Yeah, dude,
I've only watched.
Fucked up.
I just watched episode 3.
Yeah, this is okay. Like you've watched Daredevil.
Yeah,
right.
I watched Daredevil,
and Netflix has a tendency to kind of like go away from the norm because they have their own rules. You can't do some of the things that they're doing on regular TV. Like the cussing and all that stuff. But there's other things. Like there's some pretty brutal violence and everything. Well, I thought Daredevil was bad. Punisher is like way worse. And it gets pretty brutal the farther down the season you get. And Can I give you a hint?
Okay.
Okay, you know the kid that's having some real bad like PTSD
Yeah.
in the help group? Yeah, just wait for his story arc.
Okay.
Do you remember one of the main villains of The Punisher?
To be honest, no. I just know the Kingpin because it was in Spider-Man.
Yeah, okay.
But
All right, well, then
I
I
never
won't
read
ruin
the.
it for you because you'll probably recognize it as soon as you see him.
Yeah, but I didn't read the comic books or anything like that. I played the arcade game. That's about it.
Yeah. I do like the character of Madani. I think she's a pretty good actress for the most part.
Who's Madani?
The special investigator,
Oh, really?
the lady.
Yeah, about that.
You don't like her?
No, well, I was telling my brother, it's like, you know what? The only thing I haven't liked so far is that it's like they got really cheap when they started casting like everybody else.
I don't know.
Because
Like,
it just sounds like it's overacting or like underacting, or it's just like they sound like B-rated actors, you know?
well, fine, Zumi. Can't always please you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know,
I think I'm just trying to fill my time with television, like or like seasons of television on Netflix or something. I'm trying to fill it with stuff so that I can make it to the last season of Game of Thrones. And then I don't know what I'm going to do with my life.
and then you're gonna.
But I felt the same way after Breaking Bad too. So
Yeah. I still refuse to watch the last 2 episodes.
you bug the shit out of me. You know
I
that?
know, dude.
Because they're beautiful.
They can be awesome, but I know what happens because everybody has spoiled them, right? But
Well, people suck.
I might do the same thing for Game of Thrones. I might not actually finish the last
You know
episode.
what? You're dead to me. You're dead to me.
I don't think I can do it, but I might. Because in my mind, Breaking Bad is still going on. I haven't seen the end, therefore it hasn't happened.
You know what I do have to read? That it's never been suggested to me by anyone, and it's never been something that I've really thought about, but I've heard about it. Like I've always, seen it around like every now and then, and they even made a really cheap like C movie out of it. Is Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand?
Never heard of it.
Never. Okay. Well, then I'm going to have to buy the book, like the EPUB version, and I'll probably send you a copy because I kind of want to read it and I want to see what it's all about. But it's just recently I've been seeing a few more things about Ayn Rand. I don't remember where she's from. She's foreign, but the book is supposedly about. It's a story, but like the moral of the story is basically you have to be a selfish person in order to take care of the people that you care about.
Yeah, that's my philosophy.
Yeah, and it's like I knew you'd like the concept, but and there's probably a couple of listeners out there that think we're assholes right now. But the basic idea is it's the same as if you're on a plane and they tell you, don't try to save your kid first and put the oxygen mask on them first. Put it on yourself first so that you will have enough oxygen to stay awake and put it on them.
Right.
Because I guess that kind of shit happens all the time. People are trying to put, the oxygen mask on the kid because they want the kid to survive. Well, you won't be able to do either if you're not around.
Right.
If you pass out or you go hypoxic or some shit. So it's kind of like, that's a watered down version of the idea. But the idea is, in order to be successful in taking care of people, not taking care of people, but being a benefit to others around you, you have to be selfish. Because if you're not selfish, you're not going to... Selfish in the terms like you have to work on yourself.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the word selfish, or the commonly accepted definition of selfish. I'm going a little too deep here, but basically, yeah, you have to make sure that you're in a position to take care of other people. Because if you're not, what's the point?
Right.
Because then you're just fucking up your life, and then by extension, your family's life, and then by that extension, all the people that you could have helped.
Yeah, and I mean, like the greatest example of those are actually therapists. Believe it or not, I always use therapists as my bad example.
But it makes sense.
Well,
they all have problems, and they're trying to fix their own.
There's like a little competition going on. At least when I got out of school, between positive psychology and CBT, which is like the fad that's in right now. It's CBT, right?
Yeah.
So positive psychology talks about they label them the wounded healers.
Yeah.
So essentially, it's those people that got like a fucked up life, and so they decide to study psychology to help other people, air quotes, that are in like similar situations and stuff, but they never really truly fix their own shit.
And they can't fix other people.
Right. So it's like you have a bird with a broken wing trying to help another bird with a broken wing. So. Yeah.
Well, I like the example, like it's like someone who's 400 pounds giving you weight loss advice.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like,
why the fuck would I listen to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it makes sense. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to read the book and not watch the shitty movie. Like, I've heard people say that the movie's good.
There's a movie?
Yeah, there's a movie, but like I said, it's like a C movie.
Oh, okay.
It's like a Hallmark, or what's that?
Hallmark.
Yeah, it's like a really shitty studio, and like one kinda known actor in it that they gave all the money to.
Christian Slater?
No, I don't think that well known. That is really fucked up that Christian Slater fell that far. But he did come back a little bit with Mr. Robot.
Yeah.
Which I'm not too fond of.
I've only seen the first episode. I couldn't get into it.
Yeah, I think that's about as good as it got. I mean, I know a lot of people love that show, but whatever. But yeah, I think it's really sad what happened to Christian Slater, because he had some good movies that he was in.
I only know two.
Broken Arrow and Robin Hood, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say Alcatraz and True Romance, but
oh shit! Then there's yeah, but you also forgot one very important one.
Don't even say it, dude.
Do you not even consider it a movie?
No, I don't even consider. I consider that like a paycheck.
That which shall not be named.
God,
what a terrible movie. Alone in the dark.
Although.
And who was his sidekick? Was that Tara Reid?
It was Tara Reid, yeah.
God. But she was fucked up to begin with.
Yeah, dude. She was pretty hot. She was pretty hot back in the day, but, then she derailed or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been trying to tell this story about my kids getting sick since before Solomon, so it has been like a month and a half, maybe.
Okay.
So I get a call from Anna saying that my kids are sick, and at first we thought it was an allergy attack, because they've had that before, like like skin allergy, right? But they had all like these little like blisters forming up in their hands, and we were like, I don't know what it is, like so. So I had to take a couple of days off, took him to the hospital. So we go to the doctor, and she's standing there, right? And she's looking, and she's listening to what Anna's saying. It's like, yeah, he has this, he has like these little spots. And it's like, oh, I know what that is. And I'm not going to name it until the end, because otherwise the story's not, funny, but, so. Sure. So she's like, oh, I know what it is. It's this. And I'm looking at the doctor like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, really? And I'm like, is that an actual disease? And she's like, yeah, that's what it's called. and I'm like, yeah, maybe we should go.
I think you're bullshitting.
I'm like, maybe we should go get a second opinion or something. But anyway, she's saying, no, well, it's viral and stuff. You can't really do anything, but it hurts a lot. And, out of all the symptoms that I read and that the doctor mentioned, it was just the blisters, the form of the blisters in their hands and stuff. And I'm like, okay.
I think I know which one you're talking about, so don't say it until, like, go ahead.
So anyways, like I weekend pass, I go home, or not home, but like Encinitas home, and then I go to work, right? And my boss is like, so how are your kids? And I'm like, well, they're doing fine. It's a viral infection, so they give them some medication just for like pain and stuff. But, it's like, I didn't know this. It's like, well, what do they have? It's like, well, and I say the name in Spanish, right? Cause I never heard of it in English. And as soon as I said the name, like my boss is, from Guatemalan. So he understands broken Spanish. So he's like, oh yeah, hand, foot, mouth. Yeah. I'm like, come again? He's like, yeah, hand, foot, mouth. My kids had that. I'm like, what the fuck? That's an actual disease?
Yeah, my kids had it just not too long ago.
So I didn't know. I was like, yeah, I thought the doctor was bullshitting me when she said hand, foot, mouth. I'm like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, it was like, really? That's the name of this thing. It was like, yeah, because it happens in your hands and your feet and in your mouth. And I'm like,
dude, how lazy was the scientist that came up with that?
I was like, I was blown away that you get an actual disease called hand, foot, mouth.
Yeah, I think the guy would have been better off if he would have named it like after the town that he was in when he discovered it or something.
Yeah, something.
You know, it's like, really? You're just going to go with hand, foot, and mouth?
Hand, foot, mouth. Because it shows.
It's like, how lazy are you?
Dude, but it's like my toddler, Kenji got it the worst. Like the blister that formed, they dry off, right? And then they start to peel. Like when you have a fungus or a fungi in your, like toes, you know, like athlete's foot, you know how it like starts peeling all of a sudden? Like that's how like his entire hands were just peeling. He looked like Benjamin Button, like a fucking old man. And the skin was just like, it was fucking gross, dude. I was like holding his hands and I'm like, oh my God, this is nasty. I don't even want to touch you, dude. So, but yeah, so I learned something. Hand, foot, mouth. I was like, I'm looking at the doctor like, you fucking kidding me right now, right? Like, are you sure?
Like, I don't really feel like being joked around with right now.
Yeah, like,
you just...
and she was so serious about it. Like, oh yes, hand, foot, mouth. And I'm like, and well, she was saying in Spanish, right? Mano, boca, pie. It's just a different order. Hand, mouth, foot. But seriously, I was like, and when I told my boss, he's like, oh yeah, hand, foot, mouth. And I'm like, oh, you know about this? He's like, yeah. I'm like, what the fuck?
Where the fuck have I been?
I've never heard of this.
Well, that was like the elephant man disease. Have you ever heard of that shit?
No, but that sounds like a joke too.
Yeah, I know, but it's a real thing. Or is it elephantitis? That's a real one.
Elephantitis.
Man disease.
Did you say elephantitis?
Yeah.
Like, itis is inflammation.
Like inflammation of the elephant.
Oh my God! It better not be a picture of it. It better not be a.
I don't think I even know what elephantitis is.
Please don't send me a dick pic.
Let's see. Elephant man disease is the common name of the genetic condition neurofibromatosis. According to Neurofibromatosis Incorporated, holy shit.
I know what neuro.
Yeah, a person's nervous system will cause the body to grow grotesque tumors on the nerves anywhere on the body.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know what neurofibromatosis is. I didn't know it was called the elephant. The elephant disease.
Or wait, elephant. Wait, it's got to be. It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Okay, so elephantitis is the same as.
I guess. The elephant man
disease.
Elephantiasis. Holy shit. I think it might be the same thing. Good God. Dude, I can't look at these pictures.
Okay. I don't want to see them either.
Yeah. Whoa. Dude's nut was as big as his fucking body.
See, I told you, don't watch fucking dick pics,
Well,
dude.
that was like the remember the sexual disease or sexually transmitted disease training we used to get in the
Oh
military.
god, that was so fucking nasty.
No butt sex.
No butt sex.
Can't have the butt sex.
It's like that's the best kind of sex.
But all the pictures they'd show us, like the dick that looks like it has a lion's mane around it, and
it's like,
like an asshole that looks like the Fortress of Solitude.
you know what a doctor told me once. Like, I was doing a presentation on STDs when I was in high school, and he essentially said, "Go fuck whatever you want, and don't worry about anything, because there's really nothing that penicillin can cure except for AIDS and hepatitis B."
You're like, yeah, but those two things scare the shit out of me, and that'd be a big reason for me not to wear a condom.
But he's like, chlamydia, syphilis, and all that shit. It's like, it's been like 15 years since I last saw one. So you can go and screw whoever you want. but worry about hepatitis and AIDS.
You see,
It was really bad advice from a doctor.
I never understood why things like herpes can't be cured.
Well, because it's a virus, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like, how come a virus can't be cured? I'm not a biologist, so I have no idea. I'm just asking, like, why can't we remove a virus from the body?
I think because it mutates like so fast that there's no. By the time you find a cure for like string A, like they're already on string G, mutation G or whatever.
It's airborne now. Well, that was one of the big things like 10 years ago that they were afraid of with AIDS, is that if people started having sex without telling their partners, or if two people with AIDS started having sex, like on the regular, that like it would and essentially like mutate the disease, and the disease could become airborne eventually.
Yeah, that'd be pretty messed up.
How fucked would this world be if AIDS was airborne?
It would be really fucked up. But some of us would be immune to it.
Do you think you would be?
I don't think so.
Or would it be like a Planet of the Apes, like where that shit just eventually gets everybody?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I do know that there were, they had a study, like, I think it was like 15, no, maybe less. It's like a 5-year long study or something like that about, female prostitutes. Have you heard about this one? I don't think so. In Europe, or not in Europe, but in Africa. I can't remember where in Africa though.
It was somewhere in the world.
Yeah, it was somewhere in Africa where AIDS is really common and have a really high percentage of people who have AIDS. So they follow these prostitutes that, despite having, sexual intercourse with people with AIDS, they just haven't gotten any AIDS. So what they were thinking is if you...
Wait. Are they not having their customers use condoms?
Nope.
And they're just not getting AIDS.
They're just not getting AIDS. So the theory that was planted was that, if you have consistent prolonged exposures to the virus, that you grow an immunity to it. But I guess from the sample that they had, I don't know, I can't remember if it was like 20 women or something like that, like about 8 of them actually now got the disease. So it's kind of getting debunked, like that theory that prolonged exposure or consistent exposure to it can actually generate an immunity to it. But now they're saying like, we're really not going anywhere with this. Because what they were thinking is if this was consistent, then they can see what they have in common, like maybe in their blood or whatever, and essentially find like a vaccine for it or something. But
okay,
yeah, so that we took a step back on that one, on the AIDS award.
Like, oh, we have it. Oh no, we don't.
It's like we have a theory, but it didn't hold up.
I don't know how a prolonged exposure would help, though. Like, I don't know if you can build up an immunity to a mutated virus. Yeah,
I don't know. I think the theory behind it was like, you do know that prostitutes have like a better immune system than anybody else, right?
Yeah, they're like babies. They can take anything.
Yeah, and it's because the different type of sperms that they, like, if they don't use condoms, like, their body generates like, what's the word I'm looking for? Better defenses, because you're throwing different type of sperm, right? So,
Yeah.
But if you have a consistent partner,
So gross.
I know, right? Like, you're throwing the same sperm, so your body gets used to it. So essentially, you don't have the need to build,
So you
defenses.
know what you need to do, Zumi, in order to stop being sick.
Just get different type of semen pump up my ass.
Yeah. You're gonna have to take one for the team, buddy. Actually, you're gonna have to take a few for the team.
In the name of science. Gross.
It's terrible. That's a good quality candidate for our title.
Oh man,
Like, is that kind of material right there? In fact, I'm gonna write it down right now.
Speaking of semen, pump up the ass. Have you seen this show, Beyond Scared Straight?
Yes, I have seen it before.
I went on this. I've been watching, like, all of a sudden they just showed up on my YouTube thing, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna watch him. And it was like one of like the top 10 kids, gone soft or something like that. And these guys are just going at it. The kids are just crying and shit. Dude, it's fucking hilarious. I don't think those things work though.
Not all the time, no. No, because a lot of the kids have like older brothers that are in prison, or they've been to juvenile hall, and not like juvenile hall in, say, like Vermont. I'm talking like juvie in New York or LA. Like, they've been to the shit. So when they try to take these kids to an actual prison, the kids are like, yeah, it's like more of the same.
Yeah.
Like, I know that you can't touch me. But I do like the boot camp stuff that they try to do for some of the kids, even though that doesn't always work. But.
Yeah, I mean, the problem that I see with those methods is they're fear based, right?
Yeah,
it's to see how much fear they can install in you for you to not do it. But I don't know, it doesn't work. It doesn't seem like the best method. I like the ones where,
because fear ends.
I like the ones where it was fucking hilarious, where the guy like pulls out his like his pocket, like, from the inside out, and he's like, hold this. It's like, that imprisonment said, you're my bitch. It's just like, oh my god.
And the kid just started crying, right?
Essentially, he's like, he's like, hold this, like. And there was this one guy that was throwing Kool-Aid at him, rub him under lips and stuff. And he was calling him like, you peachy tasting bitch or something like that. Oh, it's fucking hilarious, dude. It's like, next time it's gonna be bearskin taste or something like that. They were saying like, oh, it's just like, it's nasty.
Oh, those poor kids. Now, I saw a quote, I think it was yesterday or the day before. Someone had asked, I think it was Denzel Washington, like, what he thought of, like, all these kids going to prison and stuff. And I think it was about like black kids going to prison, and, what society needs to do to fix it. And basically he kind of, shut him down and said, like, society and all that stuff has nothing to do with it. It has to do with upbringing and the fact that there's no fathers raising kids anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like, he basically shut down the entire, liberal narrative on why black kids go to prison when they get older. But I still think it has a little bit to do with both. Now, it's probably more due to the fact that there's no father figure, and there's probably, I wouldn't know, because I'm, a white guy. Just going to put that preface out there.
White privilege.
Yeah, I'm waiting to cash in. But I will say that I still do think society has a decent role in why some of these kids are going to prison, because they're being told by society that, this is where you're going to go, But,
well, I don't know. I just wish they would stop. What's the word I'm looking for, Lonnie? Patronizing people. Like
for real.
they look at a minority, and it's like the expectation is less,
I'm tired of the victim shit.
So they don't, like, from off the back, like, they look at it, it's like, oh, you look Latino, or you look black, or whatever, and it's like, it's an automatic shift, like, oh, I gotta treat you differently than, I can't hold you up to, like, the standards that I would a white kid, or an Asian kid, or whatever. And it's just like, hold everybody to the equal standard, to the same standard.
Well, I just kind of wonder what Martin Luther King would say if he saw us now.
I don't know. He'd probably get shot before he opened his mouth, though.
Yeah. He'd be treated the same way that one guy is, the black sheriff, the Trump supporter guy.
Yeah.
He'd probably get called, all these names and stuff. Like, they always love to call him Uncle Tom if they end up having some view that's different than the norm. It's like, man, that's fucked up, man. It's like, we can't have our own opinions on stuff. A guy can't try to tell you something he believes, just because he's the same color as you, all of a sudden he's a traitor.
Yeah.
It's messed up. I totally get it. I totally get why, some people go crazy out there, and get annoyed with all this stuff, but the thing that I just can't understand is the extremism on both sides, like, the Black Panthers or the KKK. I can't follow their logic.
Yeah.
Some of them are morons and some of them are just way too militant.
I wish they would just find that middle ground, where they say, like, if we could all agree that, hey, let's just be nice to each other, I think we'll get along.
I mean, isn't that like the
golden rule?
Yeah, I mean, like, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But I wish it was just, instead of, like, identifying as someone, it's like, why do we have to identify as anyone? It's like, I'm just another human being just like you. Can't we all just get along?
Yeah.
But everybody has to be a victim now.
Yeah.
And that's the shitty part. You can't be happy if you're a victim either.
Oh, I mean, if I'm getting that big fat welfare check, maybe I can live with myself being a victim.
I don't know if I could.
If Bernie Sanders can get me free college and get rid of my student loan, then maybe I can play the victim.
Yeah, he's gonna take that running money right out of your pocket. That's the greatest thing. I loved I had a conversation with somebody that, about the minimum wage, because up here they're trying to raise it, like to $15 an hour in the Spokane side, like they are over in the Seattle side. And I was having this conversation saying, it's not going to make a difference, like, you're just going to get more people fired. And of course they just look at me like, what do you mean? Like, why would they get fired? Like the employer will get in trouble. It's like, how would they get in trouble? Like they can't afford it now. Like, they can't afford to employ 8 people at $15 an hour when that was what their budget was. And it's not like these people that own a franchise, like a Burger King franchise, have a fuckload of money. It's just that everybody assumes because you own a Burger King, you're a millionaire. That is so far from the truth.
Yeah, well, first off, if you own a Burger King, you're in trouble, right? It's fucking Burger King. But
yeah.
No, I'm just
the thing is, it goes along the same lines. Like, if you give every single person in the United States $1 million, it's like you gave them nothing. Because all it does is it raises the prices on everything. Yeah. Because everybody has $1 million now. Mm-hmm. So you basically, like, now your dollar is worth, like, less than a penny. I wish that people understood that. You flood the market with money, everything goes up, which means some people are going to lose their jobs, which also means that you're not going to be able to pay for shit.
Yep. Well, that and your workload is going to increase as well.
Or they'll just replace you with a robot.
Yeah, I think I mean, if anything, you should just get rid of minimum wage. Just get rid of it.
Well, and that was the whole thing, is that those jobs were never meant to be, something that supports a family. Those, like, being a burger flipper was never supposed to be that, like, lifelong career. It was supposed to be like the transition jobs, like that you had in high school, or like right after high school, or like if you lost your job, like you go work over at McDonald's or something, and you learn skills, and you get a trade, and you learn about what you would want to do, and you also have like a part-time job so you can go to school too, and it's not supposed to be like, oh, I need more shifts so that I can pay my rent.
Yeah.
It's like, dude. But what do I know? Football's going on.
I know. Oh, you must be fucking happy as fuck. The Raiders got destroyed by your Pats. They got ass raped. Holy shit.
That was, did you watch any of that?
No.
Like, I was telling you over Messenger that Estadio Azteca is a badass stadium.
Yeah, it is.
It's huge.
Ginormous.
And the fact that it's they had to put a football field in the middle of a soccer field, like they had to kind of shorten, or I'm sorry, lengthen the walkway where the team walks in, right?
Yep.
So they already had the ramps there, but they had to extend them out, and they have this badass picture of like the football players walking down the ramps. And of course there's like cages and stuff, not cages, but like fences in parts of the stadium.
Yep.
Like so people don't fall off and stuff. Well, the way that they took some of these pictures, like they have one of Brady where he's walking past like one of the fences, but it looks like this caged area. And there's people screaming and yelling, and he's holding his helmet as he's walking down. It looked like some futuristic, like Mad Max type scene where Brady was going to go and play his last football game for the fans. But, no, that was a really cool stadium. But did you see, I think it was 62 yards that Steven Gostkowski kicked a field goal?
No.
And everybody's freaking out, but it's like, dude, it's 7,500 feet. Like even Bill Belichick said in the press conference, I would have tried it at 70. Like just because Steven Gostkowski and most of the NFL kickers are used to kicking at a lower altitude,
right?
And it does make a significant difference when you go up like another 4,000 feet,
right,
and go play. The air is much thinner. The ball's going to go a lot farther. Well, he made the field goal, and he set the Patriots' kicker record, or, distance record for field goal. And there's been arguments like, should we put an asterisk?
that it was at a higher elevation.
I wouldn't mind. It's like, you don't even have to put an asterisk next to it. You can just, like, put next to the game, like where they have all the records, say, this was played in Mexico City,
Right. Well,
and then if people want to look it up, they can look it up, but.
Yeah, I'm surprised nobody passed out though. Like normally when they.
Oh, there was some of our team that went into the locker room for dehydration.
Oh, okay.
Which is another symptom of high altitude.
Yeah, like what happens is, and this is something that Mexico, I don't think they've used to their advantage, is that because of the higher altitude, whenever they go play at sea level and stuff, they're supposed to have more lung capacity.
Yeah.
But it never seems that way. It never seems like they take it full advantage of,
Well, like go like the night before to travel.
Yeah. It's like, dude.
You guys should be like, setting the altitude in the plane like a little bit higher than your home field.
Yeah.
And then when you land, you go play right away.
Yeah. You should be like, it's kind of like you should be out playing everybody else that doesn't play at that altitude.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just a theory. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe the body doesn't work that way.
Maybe it doesn't. I'm sure that there's studies. I looked at one of them. Actually went through my school's website to look up the effects of high altitude with sports. And one of the big ones is that you can't really fully adapt, like until you've been in the, like the atmosphere for a little over a month. So the Patriots staying in Colorado, Colorado City, or wherever it was, like right after their Broncos game, they just went to the Air Force Academy, Colorado Springs, and they practiced there, and they stayed at the high altitude, right, which is like 6,200 feet. And they did it in kind of like an attempt to kind of acclimate, but in total, they were only in high altitude for like a week and a half, so it really didn't do anything good for them.
Right.
They were just tired during practice, But I found that, so I don't know what the effects would be for like going from a high altitude to a sea level altitude. I know that it really fucked with the Raiders.
Yeah.
Because they went from, Oakland, which is like right at sea level, to Estadio Azteca at 7,500 feet. And they went they left like a day before. So their players were fucked up. And I know that a bunch of them, on that one drive that Brady had for the touchdown, it was like the second drive. They went 3 and out. They punted. Something like that. Oh no, that first drive, the first drive when they went down for a touchdown, they were going so fast that you could see the Raiders players. They were showing on the camera. Some of the Raiders were like sub me out, because they were dying, man.
Yeah.
And for anybody that doesn't know, there's a lot more cardio involved on defense than there is on offense. Because there's a lot of running around. But
so how about them?
Anyway,
how about them Chargers?
Go Chargers, man. The Chargers may be a little disappointing this year, like they are every year, but they are damn good. And it's like that, like you say, it's one of the most depressing things ever about that football team, is especially this year, because they have a lot of healthy players this year as opposed to last year.
Yeah.
And they're just kicking ass for like 3 quarters.
I'll tell you what I told my dad is like, dude, it's the fucking Chargers. They're gonna get your hopes up, and then they're gonna find a way to fuck it up.
Yep, and they always do.
And they were saying that,
my God, for 3 quarters, they're wonderful to watch.
They were saying that the Chargers may be the only ones who have or cause any trouble to the Pats, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, but I remember that game.
I was like, yeah, I don't think so. But
now we did have a game with them in 2014, and I don't know how many players we injured on the Chargers, but I know it was a lot, including the punter. And that was one of those games where I watched it and just, instead of being excited that my team was winning, I actually felt kind of bad. Because, every play, you'd see a Chargers player go out. You're like, oh, man. And then after a few of them go down, it's like, well, now we're playing the second, third string, and fourth string guys,
Yeah.
But, yeah. I'm there's one thing I'd like to say about football that has been making me very, very happy recently. The Seahawks are playing like shit.
Yeah, they are.
And it's fucking fantastic to watch. Now, I will say that, their main players on their defense, their secondary, are out for the rest of the year. Like Cam Chancellor and Richard Sherman and all these other guys, And then they have Cliff Averill on the front seven. But despite that, Russell Wilson plays pretty good. It's just the rest of his players, they're playing like shit. And I've been laughing my ass off for the last couple of weeks, just going into work going, oh man, you guys aren't even going to make the playoffs this year.
You know what I was I was telling my brother? I would say I think I have more faith in the Cleveland Browns to make it to the playoff rather than the Chargers actually doing something good.
Yep. Well,
they haven't won a single fucking game, right?
Nope,
Jesus
not one.
Christ.
There is one team that won a game though. and they're coming back from their bye.
Giants?
No. They've won 2.
Okay.
Poor Giants. Fuck the Giants. The 49ers, they won their first game right before their bye week, and now they're back this week or tomorrow against the Seahawks. Now, the Seahawks are obviously favored in that game because despite how shitty the Seahawks have been playing, the 49ers just aren't that good. But I will be so fucking happy if the 49ers go into Seattle and beat them. I don't care if it's by 1 point. Because that would be the ultimate fuck you to all the people I have to work with. And they got Jimmy Garoppolo on the 49ers. I don't think he's going to play, but that is one thing I will say to people is that everybody needs to start watching the 49ers because they have a decent coach now. They have decent ownership. They have a good manager. And now they have a good quarterback with a few really good players on their offense and defense. But they're still in rebuild mode. But the other thing that's pretty important for people to understand is that they have a lot of draft capital.
Do they know?
A lot like the Browns. Yep. So they're going to be able to they're going to be able to draft some good players here pretty soon.
How are my Vikings doing?
Fucking fantastic.
I saw that
they're really good.
They beat the who did they play last?
Cowboys.
Yeah, the Cowboys. That's what it was.
They didn't just beat the Cowboys.
They did.
They embarrassed the Cowboys. I mean, it was bad. I think in total, Dak Prescott only got like 3.8 points in fantasy. Like on a normal day, like a decent quarterback will get like 15 points.
Right.
That was terrible.
Wow.
And I hate how people try to blame it on the fact that Ezekiel Elliott's not going to be playing this year. It's like, dude, it's one guy.
Yeah, I mean, but Tom Brady is just one guy too.
Yeah, but we'd still be able to work through it. We still have, a kind of decent quarterback, and we may not go to the Super Bowl, but you'd be able to salvage some of the season.
Yeah, but it's one guy
Okay, I'll give you the perfect example. The Vikings have a not so great quarterback, and they're doing great.
He looks like Ryan Reynolds, by the way.
Case Keenum, yeah.
Doesn't he?
Yes. And they're doing great. So what's the excuse? If you know you're not going to be playing with a good quarterback and you're going to have a decent to shitty quarterback, you have to work on the rest. And that's the whole thing is Dak Prescott's not a bad quarterback. So what's the problem? I don't know. Cowboys need to stop bitching about Ezekiel Elliott not playing and, sack up and start playing well. Anyway.
In other news.
So there was our football shit.
Are you going to go watch Jumanji?
No, but I want to.
You're probably going to go watch Star Wars, don't you?
I don't know if I want to be able to. I don't got any money. I just bought a house.
Dude, speaking of which, oh my god, dude, lately I've been broke as fucked.
Yeah, well,
my god.
It's holiday season.
It's between hospital, saving for a separate rent, changing my kids, changing my oldest from another school. Did I tell you I changed, we switched him to another school?
No, but I mean, I had to do that.
Yeah, the teacher, I guess, had an agenda against him, and I broke any chance of her, changing her attitudes toward him, because I essentially told her to fuck off.
Oh, cool. That was smart.
I know. Well, she crossed a line that she shouldn't cross. She made my wife cry.
Oh yeah.
Nobody
see,
fucking makes my
You're
wife.
my enemy now.
Nobody fucking makes my wife cry, except for me for doing stupid shit.
But you at least have the opportunity to apologize later.
Yeah, exactly. But this lady made my wife cry, and I'm like, what happened? And I'm like, oh no, this shit ain't. No, I'm talking to this bitch right now. And I gave her a conversation she'll never forget. But get this, like, so
was it in Spanish?
Yeah, it was all in Spanish, right?
That's awesome.
But so, anyways, like, so the following day, like, that same day, I'm like, like, my kid's done with the school. The teacher's a fucking bitch. I'm done. And this is a Catholic school, nonetheless. So, and I'm using foul language. I didn't give a fuck at that point. And the next day, like, my wife went to my son's kindergarten. So they go to the same kindergarten, right?
Yeah.
And so all the teachers that were there saw him, and they're all like, "Oh, Axel, how are you?" Yada yada, right? So they started talking like, "Shouldn't you be in school?" type thing. So she's like, started saying like, "No, I took him out. We're gonna take him to another school today to check it out, and hopefully he'll start Monday." And she's like, "What was the teacher's name?" And as soon as she said the teacher's name, like, their eyes just went bloop. And they just went wide open. She's like, "What?" So it's like, "Yeah, she used to work here and she got fired."
Oh.
So I'm like, that's all I needed to know. Cause I know my son, dude. Like, if my son's the one that's wrong, I would say like, you're the one that's wrong. Like, and I actually would have had the attitude of telling the teacher like, "No, you have the right to like punish him or whatever, or give him extra homework if that's necessary." Started this new school, and he comes back with like a diploma, like yesterday.
Oh, you mean like a certificate?
Yeah, like he had like the highest score on some random test that they did or whatever. And I'm like,
you're like, see,
I'm like,
see.
I'm like, he knows, and like he has a really good passion for reading now. Like, he's reading everything. I can't fucking shut him up. He's like, "Dad, can I read that? It says." So I'm like, "Yes, good job, son."
Well, that's awesome.
But yeah, and I was like, I was like, part of me was feeling a little bad. I was like, maybe I was a little bit, maybe I exaggerated a little bit. And then
fuck that.
And then when I found that out, I'm like, yep, that just validated what I did.
Well, yeah, and I've met a few teachers, and I used to have a few teachers when I was going through school that they really just didn't give a shit. Like, or they were just cruel. Like, it's like, if you hate kids, why the fuck are you a teacher?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many other things you can do. Like, why do you have to mess up my kid's life?
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like, out of all the students, like, you're telling me that my kid is the only one that doesn't do that. And I'm like, then what the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you doing to make this better? And she was just like, "Oh, your kid's not special. I shouldn't be doing it." I'm like, "Yes, you do. You're the fucking teacher."
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's frustrating. I hate having to deal with stuff with my kids' schools. Like, I love my kids, and I love to, like, figure out better ways to help them learn and all that stuff. I like, seeing how they're doing stuff and what they're not doing well, and try to get involved, right? Well, but I just can't stand it when I know that my kid's struggling or something, or my kid's having a hard time with another kid in school, and nobody's doing anything about it.
Exactly.
It's like,
yes.
Motherfucker, I'm not there.
Yes.
You have to do this.
Yes, and that was the whole thing that I was trying to tell her. Is like, no, like, you obviously the method you're using is not working if one kid is failing. It sucks that it happens to be mine, but fuck me, like, And
Yeah.
she started, and then she started saying like, my kid's not special, to get special treatment. I'm like, I'm not asking for special treatment. I'm asking you to fucking do something about this, because this is like unacceptable.
Yeah.
And then I was just, I seriously, I just told her I said, just fuck off, and I just walked away, and I think I made her cry actually. Because she didn't want to come out like after. They were like, "Oh, we're just gonna get his stuff." I was like, I don't want his stuff. I just want him out of the school. That's it. tell me what I need to sign. That's what I told him. I don't care for the books. I'm gonna throw them away anyways. Like I don't want any traces of the school anymore.
Yeah. No, I get it. Well, I have the interesting story of, taking my two oldest to their new school. And the school that they were in was out in Spokane Valley. And, of course, they go to public school. And the school that they came from, it's not a bad school. Like, the public schools where I come from were terrible. They didn't give a shit about the kids where I came from. But, I mean, it still wasn't, like, a great school, if you know what I mean. They didn't have a lot of money. Their teachers, they cared, but they just didn't have a lot of time, because they're stretched. So we took them out of that school because we're moving. They're going to be in a new district. And we move up to the South Hill. And I go to this new school, and the moment I walk in to go get the transfer papers, like, this place looks like it was built a week ago. It's beautiful. I mean, they had a fucking bust of Thomas Jefferson up on the counter. And you know what I mean by a bust, from the chest up, So they got a bust of Thomas Jefferson, and of course they go to Jefferson Elementary, and I get the papers from the lady, and I give them to Christelle, and Christelle fills them out and everything, and then they're going into school. So for the first couple of days, the first day Christelle drops them off, and then the second day I went there and I drop off the kids, and that's usually what I like to do, is like get up and go take the kids to school. So now I'm dropping off the kids. Well, just recently, like a couple of weeks ago, Christelle was like, it's just getting really difficult to like put the two youngest in the car and then go pick up the other two, because I'm not at home, I'm at work when she goes to pick up the kids. So she's like, see if you can get them on the bus schedule, and just have them dropped off, and that'd be a lot easier. So I'm like, okay. So I go to the school to do what I did at the previous school to get my kids on the bus, which is just go in, fill out a piece of paper that says my kid will be riding the bus now. Well, I go in there and I ask the lady that's in the office, I say, hey, yeah, I'd like to put my kids on the bus schedule. And then she just looks at me like I'm weird or stupid. I'm like, okay, what's happening? She's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, I want my kids to ride the bus home from school. And they're like, are your kids in special ed? I'm like, no. And she's like, oh yeah, sweetie, we're a walking community. We don't have buses for that. I'm like, what?
We're a walking community.
And she's like, well, what I mean by that is that most of the kids walk to school, or their parents walk them to school. I'm like, so you don't have a bus? She's like, no. And after I left, I realized what she's telling me is that this is a nice neighborhood. Yeah, we don't need buses here. And I'm this jackass, slumlord, I walk in all ghetto. I got my, my hoodie sweater on and my work pants on and everything. And I walk in like, yeah, I need my kids to take the bus, and she's just looking at me like, oh, this piece of shit. So yeah, we still pick up my kids from work or from school, We're a walking community. I'm like, I'm thinking later, I'm like, did you have to say it like that? We're a walking community.
Put you in your place, huh? Didn't she?
Fucking bitch. I don't think she was meaning to be a bitch. I just don't think she, I'll clarify, because it is a good school and there's a lot of good people there that work there and stuff. So I'll clarify and say, maybe she just isn't used to my type of person.
You know what that reminded me of? That movie with Justin Timberlake, the one with the time.
Oh, In Time.
In Time, where it's just like you
That's a good movie.
You move up a class and you're all of a sudden you're like, what the fuck is this guy?
Yep. Like he's eating all fast in the restaurant. And people are just staring at him like, ew. Like, maybe you should slow down.
Oh, man. This is a walking community, sweetie.
And it was this older lady too, you know. She was actually really nice, you know, but yeah, I mean, you should see the high school that my kids will be going to. They're going to be going to they have a football team at this high school that's a 3A football team.
Don't do it, Lonnie.
Dude, I'm so pumped. I want one of my kids to be in football.
Don't do it. Concussions.
Why not?
They're real.
Oh my God. And I'm going to let my kid make that decision. I'm not going to pussy out and say, but I'm going to show him the videos, of course, of what happens to people that get CTE. And if he still wants to do it, I'm not going to stop him. I'm getting tired of people saying, don't let your kid do that. They'll get injured. Like, well, shit, they could get killed just walking outside their house.
Just take him to an MMA class.
That'll be my middle son. He's the one that my middle son gets super serious when I wrestle with him.
Does he?
Oh my God. Like my oldest son, like I can tell him like, okay, it's time to calm down, you know, and he'll be like, okay, you know, and we'll hug it out, you know. Oh my God, not my middle son. You know, he if I start up with him, he's winning. He doesn't know how, but he's gonna do it. That's and funny. Like he tries to sweep the leg. You know, it's like, what the fuck is this, Karate Kid?
Sweep the leg.
Sweep the leg, Johnny.
I actually want my kid to take some boxing lessons. I wouldn't mind.
Which one?
All of them.
Okay. You just want them to be able to have that type of discipline, or you want them to be able to defend themselves, or both?
Yeah, that.
Oh, you just want a badass, and you want to make money.
I want a Ray Donovan in my family.
Aw, you're so adorable. Yeah, but what happened to Punchy?
That's why I don't go to Catholic church, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, I wanted to ask you, since I've been spending a lot of time in Mexico and stuff, am I developing an accent that I'm not hearing sometimes?
Why, do people say anything?
Somebody told me that they noticed an accent and they thought I was Filipino.
Is this in reference to your extremely racist show note thing that you put up here on the set list?
That's why I've said, like, well, you know, I'm half Mexican, half Japanese. I guess that makes me 100% Filipino. But yeah, they were like,
no, Zumi, you're not Filipino.
They asked me like, oh yeah, we wanted to ask you, are you Filipino? And I'm like, no, that's a Japanese last name. And they're like, oh, I was going to say, because I noticed an accent and we thought you were Filipino and stuff. And I'm like, no, Japanese. I have Japanese.
If you really want me to be completely honest with you, I really don't notice an accent with you.
Really, man? It's like, really?
At the same time,
you're used to it?
You know, like, yeah, at the same time, it could be the fact that I've known you for such a long time, but you would still have to have like a pretty significant accent for me to even notice, because I'm just because of where I was raised. And
maybe I shouldn't ask a Californian then, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this person,
like someone from up here.
This person's from Virginia, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of Mexicans in Virginia, though.
So I guess
I don't know.
I guess when I told them that I have, you know, Mexican, they kind of click, like, oh, that's what that accent was. Like, all right, that makes sense. But,
I mean, I've noticed that you have like you have some different like speech patterns, like every now and then.
It's when my mind gets ahead of it myself.
Yeah,
the Mexican brain takes over.
Yeah, but it's not like so noticeable that you're like, oh shit, you know, we got to deal with this guy. No, you speak English perfectly. I haven't really noticed anything. You know, I don't think you have an accent at all, but whatever. Do I sound like I have an accent?
What the fuck are you talking about? You white. It don't matter.
I know that.
It don't matter.
I have had people tell me that I have a Californian accent.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, brah. You too.
What's up, bro? How you doing, man? No.
I mean, compared to how people in Spokane speak, you do have an accent.
I will say that my mother-in-law, she likes to say bag instead of bag.
I know, and that's what I was gonna say.
Shit.
Like, you know, you are talking to people who say cement versus cement.
Like, say cement. Don't say semen.
Don't
say cement.
No, it's not semen. It's cement.
No, I know. I'm just saying that's what I hear when they're saying
Oh,
it.
yeah, I know. They say bag.
Or pop instead of soda.
Right, they say bag, and they use pop instead of, or just call it a Coke or a Sprite or whatever, you know.
Well, yeah, I just can't stand people saying pop, and I refuse to say it. It's like if someone asks me if I want a pop, I'm like, no, I do not want a soda.
I do not want
like an asshole. Like I'll be that jerk. Be like, no, I do not want a soda.
You're like that lady. Oh, sweetie, I call it a soda.
I saw a line on the internet one time that said, when the waitress the waitress asked me what I want to drink, and I say a Coke, and she asked me if Pepsi's okay, I ask her if Monopoly money's okay.
Well, they have Pepsi products, you know.
Yeah, I get it.
It's a sponsorship, Lonnie. Come on.
Have I already asked you? Coke or Pepsi?
I don't drink Coke or Pepsi
yes,
anymore.
Yes, you've said that before. Choose one.
Coke.
Why?
Because it tastes fucking delicious here in Mexico with like the real cane sugar.
Oh my god, in the glass bottle?
Yeah, dude. That was the best. Way back when I used to drink it, it was the bomb.
Know, I still remember my first experience with a real Mexican Coke. And I was, God, I think I might have been like 7 or 8. And it's like that first hit of heroin. Like you never forget it.
I've never done heroin, so I wouldn't know.
But you know what I mean? It's like, you can't forget it.
Yeah.
And then when I went down there for that missions trip in my senior year, dude, I bought like 2 crates of that shit.
Nice.
You know, because it ended up being like, $2. But oh yeah, Mexican Coke.
Speaking of mission, so did I tell you?
Got some missionaries down there.
Yeah. Did I tell you about the? Well, there's 2 stories, right? Did I tell you about Don Luis at all?
Don Luis, you mean the Mexican president?
No, the Christian evangelist or whatever that tried to recruit me.
No.
Well, I don't know what kind of what branch of
what denomination?
Yeah, they do, because I didn't find it's definitely not Jehovah's Witnesses though.
That's not Christian.
So
I don't accept them.
So he came in and he started saying that do you know that there's what he call it a mother death. No, a mother there's also a mother goddess and a father god, what? Right? So I'm like, okay, you have my attention, and I'm like, I'll give you 30 minutes of my time. So he started, at the beginning I thought he was speaking of the like duality of like religions, right? Because some religions, they have like God and
they're trying to put a little of that Hindu into
and he got my attention because I was like, well, this is he looks like a Jehovah's Witnesses, but he's talking about the feminine side of like stuff, and I'm like, all right, I'm curious, and I try to scare them, right? Like at first, because that's what I do.
Because you're an asshole.
Because I'm an asshole. I mock people, and I tell them like, "Oh, that's interesting that you mentioned that, because like inside my house, I have a tarot card deck that You
mean tarot,
whatever, tarot cards.
Mexican accent.
I know, sorry.
Through.
I guess I do. I guess to answer my question is yes, right? Anyways. And, and it does have the duality portions, right? Like it has a pope and it has a papis. It has an emperor and an empress. and they always talk about it's dualities, right? Of
Sure.
masculine side, feminine side, yin yang or whatever. And that didn't scare him. He didn't mind that I had the cars, right? So, but like every other like Jehovah's Witnesses or religions, people that go to from door to door, he started talking about like the Bible states this, the Bible states that, there's this passage that states this, yada yada yada. Therefore, boom. And his goddess was a metaphor for a Jerusalem in heaven. So I'm like, so you're telling me your goddess is this fictional version or this hypothetical Jerusalem? That's the feminine side of stuff. Essentially, it's like, yeah.
And this is what he's basing his belief system on?
Yes, and I'm like, oh, okay. So, anyways, I stopped listening. I started to cut the conversation, right? But then he pissed me off. He said, like, essentially, he was saying like about like if I didn't allow God in my life, like how I wasn't gonna like live for eternity. And he's like, how long do you plan on living? And I go 1,000 years. So he's like, well, I mean, you're not gonna live that long. I'm like, too bad. It's like too fucking late. I already decided. Who are you to tell me that I can't or won't? And then it switched to, I don't know. That was one that almost scared him away. And I think the one thing that did it was, I essentially told him about how, how I thought that, having the emotion of jealousy or being envious was kind of a childish emotion to have from a supreme being. Right. So I'm like, well, you're telling me that you're here because it's an obligation that God gave you, right, to try and save everybody else's life. Otherwise, you won't go into heaven. He's like, yes. So essentially, you're telling me you don't give a shit about me. You give a shit about yourself. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. I know I was just twisting his words, but
yes, but and this is where I've gotten into arguments, or I'll say debates, with people that you know full well that I'm a Christian.
Yes. But
you also know full well that I do my research. And the one thing that's really important to me is knowing why, for me, is knowing why I believe what I believe. And I'm not just going to believe something just because, I grew up with something, and my parents believe this, or, someone told me about that. I'm going to go and do my homework. I'm going to find out which one makes the most sense. Not just, the way I feel about it, but also logically and scientifically. When people start taking the Bible, or even the Quran, or any other manifesto you want to choose, when they start taking it and dissecting it into things that are metaphorical, or into things that, like the Catholic Church, for instance, like taking one verse about Peter being the rock in which, Jesus will build his church, and using that as we need a pope. Like when you start getting into that kind of stuff where you start expanding from your own feelings about a certain verse, that's when I have a problem. Right.
And like you said, it's and I didn't want to get into the whole thing with this guy, because like I said, after he's explained his, logic using, different passages of the Bible, I was just like, okay, yeah, you're no different than anybody else, but I didn't want to be rude. I gave him a bunch of chances to like say like, okay, maybe next time we'll talk, but he just rubbed me the wrong way when he said that, that's not gonna happen. I'm like, too fucking late. I already decided. Yeah. But anyways, the other one was this girl. I mean, you can tell she was from the U.S., just blonde, green eyes, right? So she's talking her like gringo Spanish. I thought it was cute. And she's like, Te vengo a hacer una invitación. So I grabbed it. And I read the thing, and it said the Church of Mormons. And I'm like, no thanks. I've already been married in one. I'm not going back to it.
Yeah. Mormons. I will say that they do some good charitable work.
Her eyes she was just like, holy shit, like, what the fuck? I tell them, like, I've already been married to one. I'm not going back to it.
Yeah. If you want to talk about shit that's way too close to
Scientology.
the Illuminati.
Or Scientology.
Or Scientology. Shit that's way too close to that's Mormonism.
Yeah.
I mean, we have our own story about a friend who had to deal with Mormonism overseas. You know,
Yes.
We've already told that story. That's messed up.
Have we?
Yes, we have.
We have.
Yes, we have.
Okay. Yeah.
And if you want to hear that, go back to our previous episodes.
I don't know which one though. Like,
I'd have to look at it. Dude, I'm not going back through those.
yeah. No,
But it was basically like he got excommunicated because he wasn't going to church.
Yeah.
And he couldn't go because of where he was at.
Well,
and his schedule.
Yeah, that and he was just taking a break from it, you know?
Yeah.
But the fact that he got a letter from the bishop saying that your blessings are taken away until you go to church, it's kind of like, since when did the gods the blessings from God are gonna just magically be taken away because I'm, taking some time off? It's like, no, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, and then the fact that those people attach themselves to Christianity also kind of pisses me off.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, so you're going to go from one religion that says that it's a free gift and that it can't be taken away to another. You're going to go from that and take from that religion, but you're also going to say that, if you don't show up,
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, come on.
Do you really want to serve a God that's that batshit crazy?
I know. I don't know. It's
How many people are we offending right now?
a lot probably. But here's the thing, like, after that, like, Don Luis doesn't like come to my house. Like, he doesn't even say hi. He's probably like, every time he walks in front, it's like, there's the fucking heathen.
We should have him on as a guest.
I know, right?
I don't think he'd like me very much.
Oh, well, like I said, he probably doesn't like me anymore.
I'd be respectful.
So. Oh, and like I said, I was very, but here's the thing, Lonnie. Every American that shows up that it's a Jehovah's Witnesses or whatever, they don't try to like put this like down your throat. That's something that I've noticed. Like everybody that's an American that lives down here and does their little thing, they always say like, hey, here's an open invitation to come check out our church, and that's it.
Yeah.
You don't hear him like them reading you the Bible and like, well, did you know this? And if you don't do that, you're gonna fucking burn in hell and stuff. And it's like, dude, come on. And essentially, like,
there's a better way to say that.
Yes, and like before you used to just be able to say like, hey, we are Roman Catholics. We already go to church. Thank you. Right? And that was it. That was the end of it. Now, like, they don't even listen to that. You say like, we're Catholics, and they try to prove you why you should convert to being
they're trying to sell you a Kirby vacuum when you own a Dyson.
It's like, dude, stop. Like, no.
And I would know about that because I used to canvas for Kirby vacuums.
So, but anyways, like, like, I don't want to make it to like a religion podcast, but
this is the Nothing podcast, so we can talk about whatever we want.
Yeah. So I started watching videos about life hacks. Those are pretty awesome. Have you seen those?
Yeah, but some of them are unrealistic, dude.
But I like the ones where they show like where you can use like stuff that's left over. Like,
oh yeah, that's good stuff.
Like the lids that you open that thing with the your can opener thingies on your soda pops.
Okay. You mean the tabs?
Yeah, you put them on like a hanger, and it gives you like an extra. The loop gives you an extra space for another hanger, so you have two hangers in one versus. Yeah. I thought that thing was pretty practical.
I liked the paperclip one. Like those black paper clips that have the two wings. They come up and you kind of fold them back so you can open up the clip.
Oh, yeah.
Like you can put those on the edge of your desk.
To put cables on?
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, that one was pretty cool. So I got into this, like, rabbit hole of just watching video after video. It's like 10, 20 minutes per video. All of a sudden I realized, I'm like, oh shit, it's been 2 hours. I better stop.
Yeah, there's a lot of subscriptions that I've gotten into on YouTube, and one of them, like I told you last time when we were interviewing Solomon, was the body language one, and that one's kind of fun because she goes through a lot of different videos, and she's like, okay, this guy's totally going into memory right now, and and here's where he's bullshitting you, and but the other one that I really like is the guy that builds shit out in the middle of the jungle. Have you seen that guy?
No.
I'll have to say, I don't remember the exact name for it. I guess I could look at it right now. But he basically starts with nothing. I mean, all he has is shorts.
Oh,
if there's no talking.
Is this the guy that builds a house out of clay?
Yeah, primitive technology.
Yeah, I've
Dude's
seen
got like, what is it, almost 6.7 million subscribers.
Yeah, I have seen this guy.
It's badass stuff. I mean, the latest one he had was basically a grass hut, and that was his latest one. The one before that was actually pretty cool. It was a draft furnace that he made. I mean, the guy can basically smelt metal right now if he wanted to. It's pretty amazing. But the shingles one is one of them. Those are my favorite ones, where he makes shingles out of clay. He kind of just builds a house.
Yeah, that's the one I saw. And then on the bottom, he has the fires to keep it warm, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Yep. And then that fire just kind of warms right underneath his bed.
Yes, yeah. I saw
that's cool stuff.
That one was fucking badass.
And I like those type of videos where if you look at it, you're like, okay, this might actually be something I might remember if I'm in a bad situation. I may not do it exactly like he does it, but at least I'll have the basic idea.
Yeah, you're going to be like, the video took 20 minutes. It's been 4 hours and I haven't gotten anything done.
Yeah, it could be that. But there's a bunch of them. I mean, of course I have our YouTube channel subscribed. I'm just waiting for, my 6.7 million subscribers. People, click the damn subscribe button. But those ones and the real nerdy ones, there's one I will admit to. It's called Men of the West. And it's a breakdown of certain things in the Lord of the Rings.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And some of them are actually kind of fun. One of them was, what if Sauron had regained the Ring of Power? What might have happened, or what if Saruman had gotten the ring? And that's kind of fun. Kind of looking at what might happen. But yeah, I can't get into YouTube too much because if I get on it late at night, dude, I'll be here till the morning.
Yeah, it's a fucking rabbit hole, dude. It's just, and there's a lot of stuff that has those clickbaits icons or descriptions, and you're just like, motherfucker, I just wasted 5 minutes. Let me see this one. Let me see this one.
I've been doing a thing now where I can download videos from my YouTube app on my iPhone, and I'll download a bunch of them before I leave home. And I'll do it that way instead of using my data.
You cheap bastard.
I know, but let me see. I got my phone here. Let me see. What's some of the ones that I've downloaded recently? They're probably really stupid things.
I just make sure I'm on a Wi-Fi connection.
Well, yeah, that's usually what I do. We're at the 25th of November right now, and I still haven't gotten a notification that I've used up 75% of my data. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. The one thing or the one show that I watch with my brother is the one where they create swords. Have you seen that one?
Which one? Because there's a bunch of them, and I've probably seen them all. But yeah,
I don't know the channel, but they just build swords. That's what they do. They built the Buster sword from Final Fantasy VII. They've done the one from Braveheart. They've done a couple from Game of Thrones.
The blade sword.
Yeah, those are they're fun to watch. I mean, every time I'm watching it, I'm thinking this guy's gonna just miss the freaking anvil, hit his hand or something.
Yeah.
Just cut his hand right off. I'm like, it looks dangerous as fuck though. But
well, there's some of these channels that have kind of died down in their activity. One is that unbox therapy. that you got me onto.
Yeah.
With that Bluetooth speaker and all that. That guy's kind of died down a little bit. But he still has a few. I think there's 4 videos that I haven't watched. And the hydraulic press channel. My kids love that shit. Have you watched any of those?
I don't think so.
Where the guy just crushes shit with a hydraulic press?
No.
Dude, my kids love that channel. And I probably haven't watched the video in like a month and a half, and he's only had 1 new video. So there's some stuff that's, but there's one that's actually kind of fun. It's called Mythbusters for the Impatient. And it basically cuts out all the bullshit from the Mythbusters episodes. And it just shows you like the meat and potatoes of the episode. And they only end up being like 3 to 5 minutes long.
Yeah.
But it's really cool
because
like, you can watch all the episodes and just see what happens.
So it's kind of like the myth is if you put sugar down your gas tank, the engine busts out. The answer is no. The answer is no.
They even allow for like the brief description of what's happening, like what they're doing, what they're building. And I mean, it's kind of pathetic that that's all that's left after cutting out all the bullshit. Like, let me see. I'm going through the videos right now, like some of the big ones. Okay. Their longest video is 5 minutes and 2 seconds.
Well, that's doable though.
Yeah, but 5 minutes and 2 seconds is the longest they could go for making a video about Mythbusters or from Mythbusters, and it's just essential content.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, but that shows you how pathetic all the rest of the content is.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine we trying to condense this podcast to just 5 minutes?
Oh, I don't think that's possible. Maybe it is.
Like, what happened? Shit went down.
Yeah.
And that's it. Speaking of shit going down, dude, have you seen like these other fucking allegations that are going out, like on sexual assault and all that shit? Like now there's more. Like I've read like Uma Thurman and like even Terry Crews, man.
But he was the one that I don't know if that one is necessarily true or if that one's a
dude. Somebody grabbed his junk and that's considered sexual assault.
What, like Terry Crews
Twice.
grabbed his junk?
No, yeah, like
no.
Like the
okay,
agent.
If you're talking about Harvey Weinstein or whatever grabbing his junk, I've seen that.
No, like it wasn't Harvey. It was somebody else, some agent dude that works for Adam Sandler, Eddie Murphy. I think he represented.
And then they assaulted, or he says they assaulted him.
Yeah.
Terry Crews says that. I've seen the interviews where he's talking to Michael Strahan, and dude, it's fucked up because when you're watching it, you're like, okay, nobody's gonna fuck with Terry Crews, right? He's a big ass black dude, muscle bound black guy, right?
Chargers linebacker, dude, defensive lineman, right?
Strahan?
No, Terry Crews.
Terry Crews never.
He played for the Chargers. What the fuck are you talking about?
No,
dude,
it wasn't for very long then.
He was the Chargers. I can't remember if he was a defensive lineman.
Oh no! I remember the story. I'm thinking of a different person here. I'm sorry. Let me see. I'm going to look at Terry Crews. Football career. He was drafted by the Rams, and then he was drafted in the 11th round. Oh, that was way back in '91. I was like, there's no 11th round in the draft anymore. His career included stints with the Rams, Chargers, Redskins, and Eagles. That means he wasn't necessarily the best player.
No, he wasn't. I mean,
but he was obviously good enough to get into the NFL.
Yeah, so. But he was a big dude. He's a big dude, and he got his junk grabbed twice.
Yeah,
twice.
Anyway, when he was telling these stories in the interview, like you could see his face, and I'm not saying I'm an expert in body language and all that stuff, but when you're watching him, you're like, dude, he looks like he's trying to like tell you what happened, and as he's remembering, the dude looks like he's gonna cry.
Yeah,
it's like, holy shit, did someone actually try to grab the thing that like jumps out to me when I listen to these stories from him is that how scary is it that these people have so much power that they don't even think twice about doing this to somebody like that.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like what Bill Burr said when it happens to a woman, everybody listens. Well, when it happens to a guy, everybody just thinks it's funny.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
So that's why that's why you don't. I don't think that's why you don't see guys like coming out that as much as women do. I don't think.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty.
Well,
does it happen to guys? Probably. I mean, if it happened to Terry Crews, and he's a big motherfucker, like
he's a big dude.
like and like I said, it didn't happen once. It was twice. Like the guy grabbed him and he said, "I pushed him," and I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like, hey. And the guy's just laughing. He goes at it again. It's like in front of his wife. No, nonetheless, it's like, dude, the balls on this dude to like.
Yeah, and Terry Crews is. Let me see. Terry Crews is 6'3".
Yeah.
And he's muscle bound, so he's probably like 240, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a big dude. I mean, so the thing that's scary is like I said, if they're willing to just do this kind of shit. And the one story, he said it was happening right in front of his wife.
Yep. Messed up, dude.
Damn.
I'm saying, like...
Yeah, I don't know, man. I did see a video that kind of changed. Like, I already had I used to get upset with people already, like, that would, try to say you need to give that guy a high five when they say, like, a teenage boy got molested by his teacher, who is a woman. It's like, I was already like, dude, that's fucked up. It's like we make jokes and everything, but that's fucked up. And then I saw this video of this guy, same thing had happened to him, and now he's grown up and everything. He's like in his 40s. And he did a YouTube video of how messed up his life became after that, and like how he just couldn't trust women anymore, so he ended up being homosexual. And like he'd never been able to have a real relationship just because he just doesn't trust anybody, and he wouldn't let anybody touch him. And it's like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna laugh or make jokes about that shit anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean,
like I said, we like to make jokes because, like,
it
should have given a high five, but it's dude, it's
but
really not that funny.
Yeah, we're viewing it as the already grown man that we are, and how amazing, like, the fantasy of like doing an older chick at that age sounds.
Yeah, and
right,
and the whole thing is,
but like
you
I said,
have to realize that they're just a kid.
Yeah, but once it happens, if it happens to you, I'm pretty sure it's a completely different story. But it's like I said, it's like Bill Burr says, like when it happens to a woman, everybody listens. When it happens to a guy, everybody just thinks it's funny. Yeah. So, and
it's like I had the conversation I had with my mother-in-law about like she thought that men could not be raped. You're like, well, if he has an erection, that means that he's into it. It's like, no, absolutely not.
That's like saying if a man is being raped by another man and he gets an erection that he liked it. It's like, no, that's a body response to say you need to feel this in order for it to not be as painful.
Yep, and it's also a way for your brain to get out of it faster.
Yeah, that happens to women and happens to men. It's normal for a woman even to have an orgasm during rape. It doesn't mean that she liked it. It just means your body, or the body response was like, dude, in order for you to not feel pain, here you go. Feel pleasure instead.
It's messed up, isn't it?
It is, but your body protects you in a way from physical pain. I mean,
the fact that you can go into shock is an amazing thing for the body to have. I mean, and a lot of people think shock is like, it's terrible when someone goes into shock, but it's also really good, like, because it also prevents a lot of other things from happening.
Yeah.
And it's just like when your body, forces you to pass out, or when your body like totally shuts down and you don't feel pain, and that the human brain is pretty incredible. Like the amount of drugs that your brain can produce is pretty cool.
Naturally.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a whole group of people trying to figure out how to do that shit, manually instead of automatically.
I can help you with that, Lonnie, if you want to.
I don't think I need to feel high right now.
Just saying, feeling high is the easiest transinduction that I know how to do. So yeah.
Would you say it's easier for someone who has been high than it is for someone who hasn't?
Yes. And the reason why is that you need to experience it at least once, right?
So you're telling me that you could never give, or it would be really difficult to give me the feeling of a meth high.
Yes, because if you don't know how the high from meth feels like, then there's no way to replicate it.
And there's also no way to explain.
Exactly.
And say, okay, this is what it feels like to be on meth. You know.
Right.
That's too bad.
Yeah. I mean, I can teach it to you. It's really simple. Like every feeling travels like in a circle, right?
Yeah.
So it either goes this way or it goes this way. So if you think about, like, if you've ever been high or if you ever laughed uncontrollably and you think about that experience or that memory that triggered it, then you find the first point where you feel it, and then you describe what you're feeling, and then it's going to move somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so usually it's between 4 and 7 points. And as long as you keep cycling between those points and put your attention to it, your brain will eventually say, like, I must be drunk or I must be high. And like I said, that's why, like, hypnotists can get people drunk, like, really, really quickly. That's the easiest, like, that's the easiest one to do. Like, they just cycle through that feeling and you just get to it, like, quickly. And as soon as you, like, clap or interrupt them, like, it goes away.
Yeah. So you're saying I couldn't do this around my kids because they pull me right out of it?
Yeah. If you want, but it does.
I don't want to.
It does require a little bit of concentration of you focusing on where you feel it first, where it travels, and then you close the cycle and you just revisit those points. Like,
wow, you're like a diction Yoda.
I did it to my wife once. She's like, oh, I can't be hypnotized. I'm like, oh, you want to try one with me? And I did the being drunk. Dude, she was out of it for like a good half an hour. She was just like, I can't get rid of it. It's like, it's because you don't want to. Like, just enjoy it.
Yeah, I think that was like, I won't say that story on the air here, but I'll talk to you about it afterwards. But yeah, I think that shit's amazing. I think the human brain is one of the most incredible things about nature.
Yeah, but but yeah, like I said, that kind of stuff it's normal. It's just a body response, and yeah. Doesn't make you gay. Doesn't make you like. It doesn't say that you liked it or enjoyed it. It's just.
Are you saying that I'm not gay if I watch Brokeback Mountain?
If you watch Brokeback Mountain and you got an erection, it doesn't mean that you're gay. It just means that your body response was like, dude, you need to feel this in order to not be like freaked out right now.
My God, I can hear the sighs of relief across America right now.
But Jake Gyllenhaal looks so sexy in that movie.
You're still not gay.
Well, speaking of that, like, have you seen Big Mouth?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Dude, it's a show on Netflix. It's an animated show. It's called Big Mouth. And it's about these kids hitting puberty, and puberty is represented by the hormone monster. So
okay.
So essentially, this monster is telling them like when to jerk off and shit, and this is just like, dude, they're trying to like have a conversation with the hormone monster, and he's just like, he's not having it. He's like, nope. This is like, you want me to go away? You know what to do. They're like, oh my God.
That's actually pretty funny.
Check that one out. But the thing is, like, they answer a lot of questions about going through puberty as well, like through like humor. I mean, it's definitely not like kid friendly. It's like South Park humor. Like there's a lot of fucks and shits and stuff. But they have this really like cool episode about girls hitting puberty, right?
Yeah.
And the argument of the girl there is, her name's Jessie. She's saying how come when a guy or a boy hits puberty, it's all about, manhood and it's all glorified and stuff. And when a girl hits puberty, it's all about blood and fallopian tubes. So her hormone monster tells her to like just yell uncontrollably, like without a reason. It's like from
be an asshole.
Yeah, from now on, you don't call her mom, you call her Sharon. and she's saying like, tell Sharon to buy you this, and it's a red bra, right? And she's like, well, I want this. And the mom's like, yeah, but I don't. She's like, well, aren't you the one that is always saying that I should explore my femininity and all that stuff? And he's like, yeah, but I don't think you're ready for that kind of power. And she's like, get it. It's like, just get it, Shannon. She's like screaming. So like the next day, like she wears this red bra, right? And it's like a see-through. And all the kids are just staring at her, like even the teachers and stuff. And she just goes into the bathroom and just freaks out and like takes it off. It's like, oh my God, like all those eyes, like everybody's just watching at me weird. And it's just like, yes, the hormone monster is like, yes, but you enjoyed it. And she's like, yeah, I kind of did, but I'm freaked out about it. It's like, my mom was right. I'm not ready for this kind of power and stuff. Check it out, dude. It's really, really funny, but it also touches about, like porn, for example. Like, you know, this kid goes into this porn world, right? Or porn space is what the hormone monster calls it. And he's saying like, you know, they're going to this world to save him. It's like, you know, we're trying to save him, because if he spends more time here, he's going to get to a point where he's not going to be able to connect emotionally with any other human being. And he's going to see something that's supposed to be beautiful into something that's just like disgusting and like, just like a chore essentially. And it's kind of like, oh yeah. I mean, amongst those, or inside those fart and dick jokes, there's actually like a really good message about what it is to hit puberty and stuff. So
yeah,
I definitely check it out. Like it's called
Open Mouth.
It's called Big Mouth, and it's
Big Mouth.
Yeah, and it's not Big Mouth because of like, you know, a sexual reference. It's just,
oh no, I get it.
You know,
you had to go down that road too.
Yeah, but they cross the fourth wall as well. They address the audience sometimes.
You mean they break the fourth wall?
They break the fourth wall. Yeah,
okay.
they're like they do like woohoo or something like that, and he's like, what was that? It's like, oh, just a reference from the previous episode. And then they turn around and it's like, unless you're binge watching it, aren't you? So,
well, I'll have to look at it.
Yeah, but it's really, really funny. It's really, really good. Like, it didn't get like a lot of attention because like, I think it was because of the animation or something, but after people started watching it and recommending it, it's one of their top shows, I think.
Well, I'll probably look at it tonight if I'm not watching The Punisher.
Yeah, dude, they're 20-minute episodes. I mean, it's...
Well, I was going to ask you, there is another show on Netflix that I started to watch and I immediately ended. Mindhunter.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
Really fucked up.
Yeah, that's the one with
interesting concept.
About the serial killers, right? Or something like that?
Yes. And
yeah.
This, I think it's FBI. Yeah, it's FBI agent. He basically is trying to find out what is going through the minds of a serial killer. And so he's interviewing, like he'll interview a serial killer and find out, you know, how do they think of this situation that they're in? You know, and the part that I just couldn't do is they're explaining like all of these really sick things that some of these guys are doing. And, you know, and it involves kids. And it's like, yeah, you know, I really don't need this in my life. You know,
yeah.
I mean, I'm all for, CSI and all that shit, but I just can't.
I think that's based on the actual research that this guy did.
And it probably is, but I just can't do it.
Because they have a serial killer scale, you know that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's based on that.
Dude, it's messed up.
I know, but they show like all the common, whatchamacallit, on the scale they have like certain things of like, doesn't feel empathy, doesn't feel remorse, yada, 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 and that gives you a classification of like a type of serial killer. So, i.e. like Charles Manson, like, Ed Gein or
and I think that
Gacy.
over the course of Gacy. I think over the course of history, there's only been a couple of serial killers that have actually never followed a real pattern. And oddly enough, those are the ones that are like the most dangerous. And one of them being like the Manson, like the events with Charles Manson, which we haven't talked about actually.
Yeah.
With Charles Manson, like his cronies, I mean, apparently they'd never been able to prove that he actually did any of the killing, which is why they never, sentenced him to death. But, I mean,
it doesn't really matter now. He's fucking dead, right?
Yeah, he's dead now. And I mean, the news didn't last very long for it. It's like, yep, he's dead. He was 83. There you go.
Although what I did hear though is that they're thinking of, or I don't know if they did, but they were thinking of cremation and throwing the ashes like in a remote place, like the ocean, so that people, because they don't want to give him a grave, so that people don't go there and fucking worship him.
Yeah,
which I think is a brilliant idea.
Yeah,
don't even
incinerate.
Yeah, don't even disclose where, or just throw him in the trash can or whatever.
Yep. Yeah, it's messed up. But I mean, like his group, they would just choose a house. Yeah, and I mean, it wouldn't be a particular house. They would just choose a house, and then they'd torture and rape and do all these horrible things to people, and then they'd kill them. And it was never the same. It was never the same thing like that they did. And that's scary shit.
Yeah.
And the fact that they were just choosing houses was what scared people the most. Because it's like, dude, what, like I live like 8 miles away from that. Like what happens if, they choose my house? It's messed up.
Pretty fucking messed up.
Yeah.
Where are we at right now, Lonnie?
I think with your tiny little break, we're a little over. So
Jesus Christ, we didn't even take a piss break.
I know. You should be proud of us.
I know. It went by fast.
It's gonna be real easy to edit this one. I might even put a little classical music in for your baby break.
My baby break. I see you have Rampage here. Like that, you're talking about the movie, right?
Yeah. Did you see the trailer?
I did with The Rock. I
might actually watch it.
Is this based on like Rampage the arcade?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And that's why I'll probably watch it because of that and because The Rock is in it.
Yeah, but it's gonna suck because it's based on a video game.
I absolutely know it's gonna suck. Absolutely.
Not the best video game out there either.
No, but we all know what it is.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, and I'm pretty sure they know what
most of the '80s kids, I think, will know what it is. I don't know if these fucking new millennials will know.
Do you remember Primal Rage?
Fuck yeah, dude!
That was such a good game.
Such an awesome game. I always picked the T-Rex looking motherfucker, the red one.
See, I always liked like the snake looking, or the really like long, like serpent looking one.
Yeah.
Whatever he was.
Well,
I
like the T-Rex looking one because he like his finish move was pretty awesome. He was just like bite the other ones in half or whatever. It was so fucking gory.
I just like the tail whip of that one.
Yeah. You had to play the arcade version though, because the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis didn't have any
fucking blow.
Yeah, they didn't have any blood or it just didn't play well. The arcade version was awesome though.
Do you remember how popular Area 51 was?
Yes, I do.
And like people just going nuts. Like there used to be lines to get on that game. It was ridiculous. Or Dance Dance Revolution.
Yeah. Do you remember how like the sound of the aliens from Area 51 when they shot him?
Oh yeah.
It was like,
yeah.
So you would just hear like a bunch of jets. You would just hear like, rah, rah, rah.
Oh yeah, it was good stuff, man. Good stuff. And then that was one of the first games where you could actually use besides the Tekken Cop one, or the Tekken-looking cop one.
Oh, a virtual cup, you mean?
Yeah. Besides that one, that was like one of the first games, Area 51 was, where you could actually put in 2 quarters and use both guns.
Right. And so you would like dual shoot him.
Dude, it was so fucking awesome. And you were a badass in this stupid video game.
I know.
Kids are never going to understand. And kids are never going to understand Double Dragon, and how difficult shit was. Or Battletoads.
Dude, I never beat that game. That's so hard.
What, Battletoads?
Yeah, Battletoads.
I think it was impossible. I don't know anybody that beat that game.
There's speed runs on YouTube. I've seen him.
I won't watch them. They'll just make me sick because of how much pain it caused me.
The game gets harder. Like you think traveling on that little motor jet ski or whatever, like I couldn't get past that level. But if you get past that level, the game gets even harder after that.
Well, they did have a one that followed the same side-scroller type thing was the Ninja Turtles games. You remember those? They weren't nearly as hard.
Yeah.
But I do remember the second one being fucking really difficult.
Yeah, Ninja Turtles 2. Well, that was based on the arcade, and
yeah,
I couldn't beat it.
It was because, like, back in those days, you only had a couple of moves you could do with your character. And, I mean, basically it was like you could punch, you could kick, you could jump, and you could do like a jump punch and a jump kick. And that's it. And, like you didn't have all these special finishers and shit. That wasn't until like Super Nintendo days, when you could, or not even then. I mean, like Nintendo 64 and PlayStation, when they actually started adding like critical strikes and stuff. You couldn't do any of that shit back then. It was just like, you have to stay away from this boss. But at the same time, you have to hit him. But also at the same time, he's going to call in like his, Foot Clan. And then on Double Dragon, it was like, I don't even remember how many of his extra dudes like just to come at you out of fucking nowhere. It was impossible.
It was fun though.
It was fun. You're like 12 years old cussing at a television screen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we should probably end it there. We're already stretching it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of laid back, but it went by fast. I thought.
Yes, it did. That's because you didn't take a piss break.
Yeah, that is true. Might have to do that.
We did it before midnight.
Exactly.
Holy shit! What happened?
Well, I guess happy Thanksgiving, guys. And are we gonna have a guest next week? Or
I'm gonna see if he's back into work, and if he is, I'm gonna invite him.
All right, because I have a couple of stuff that I would like to discuss.
Okay, and I'll make sure to approve of it beforehand.
We'll go on this rabbit hole.
Yeah, and it's a deep one.
Yeah, hint, conspiracy theories.
Holy shit! All right, people, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Later, yo.
Thanks for listening to the NBTLT podcast. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, or shoutengine.com. Write to us on our website at nbtltpodcast.com or send us an email at mail@nbtltpodcast.com. Our bumper music is provided by bensound.com, and you can find us on all social media. And hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel.